come in. Now let me see you go back. Let me see you come in. Let me see you go back. Let me see you go back. Let me see you come in. Yeah.
It's Friday. Hey. Pick up my girls and hit the party train tonight. Oh, it's alright. So get up and let this funky melody get you in the mood. 'Cause you know it's alright. Yeah. Keep on moving. Stop moving. Let me see you go. So bad. Let's see you go. Alright. Let's see you go. Come on. Let's see you go. So you go back and forth.
From the album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, that is Aaliyah, produced by that other guy. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 68. Listen.
What?
We've had the combo before. Listen, if there was a versus and that cat was free and you're including songs that he wrote and produced as well, it's over.
It's a wrap. I mean,
no one in history, I don't care what era, can touch R. Kelly musically. Are we going to keep it real up in there or not?
That's the real. That's the real.
I'm with you.
I'm saying nobody.
But
Where's the but?
We discussed this before.
Yeah.
Enter Babyface. That right there would be tough.
Babyface right there.
Yeah.
Babyface right there.
And Babyface crosses so many different eras, whereas R. Kelly was very much the 90s. Babyface
been doing it since I only think of you on 2 occasions.
That's a jam.
The deal is Babyface too.
Yeah.
But one thing about R. Kelly though, Robbie, you said R. Kelly was late 90s too. What'd you say?
No,
I said he's 90s. 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think about the career that he resurrected during R. Kelly's reign. Ron Isley.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, to me, that's kind of epic right there. That's big. That's somebody from the old school entering, the current generation, so to speak, and making his songs pop.
Let's not forget that he also produced Whitney Houston. He also produced Michael Jackson. He also produced Celine Dion. All of them.
Yeah.
What a waste of a life and career. Why do they always have to crash and burn when it comes to our people? I gave you the supernova reference before. Remember I used that analogy? They said a supernova, when it's flying through the sky, it burns so fast, so bright, so hot, it can't last for long. That's why our supernovas always die too soon. Your Whitneys, your Princes, your Michael Jackson. He killed his career. And I think it's also a byproduct of you got to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, I
mean, a lot of yes people around that cat, just
Yeah, no, that's true. But it's also it is a mental health thing.
Can we have that combo?
Yeah.
Because there are some that would say, we saw the documentary. He was also molested as a child.
Exactly.
Some would say, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Should he be given grace because he also went through the same thing?
I think he should. I think there should be some understanding there. There's not a so grace in terms of understanding, yes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, you're sentencing.
Yeah.
You still have to pay for what you've done. But, this whole and don't get me wrong, here's the deal. If you are in your right mind, so to speak, right from wrong, we can hope then the argument could be, well, are you in your right mind if you're mentally messed up somewhere? You know what I'm saying? And so I think as I've gotten older, I've come across more people who've had so many different types of mental issues and that stem back from childhood, some sort of trauma, drug abuse. You know, there's all kinds of things that can mess up someone's mind and make them act differently or not make the right decisions. And so, again, this is not to say that you don't, that you shouldn't have to be held accountable, because I totally believe in accountability.
You gotta convict that kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying, grace. Grace is the word, because some people will condemn you and they will not. I mean, they will literally throw you away, and I'm not a throwaway kind of person.
Even if you're harming children.
Held accountable, but that's exactly what that is. You are held accountable. You got to go to jail. You got to do whatever. But as a person, we can't throw people away. I think everybody deserves the opportunity to sort of redeem themselves. All of us. Any one of us could be put into a position and something could go awry and you do something that is not necessarily a part of your character, something that, that you never thought in a day in your life that you would ever be in a situation like this, but you've done something, if you've done something wrong, you should still be held accountable, but wouldn't you ask for grace as well?
There are some that believe that the court should give him grace as well, because here's what we talked about. There's a chasm right down the black community on a subject we were talking about earlier. I can't remember what it was. I think this is one of those cases as well. Half of the black community would say he was molested as a child. That's why he was molesting children himself. His actions are a byproduct of what he went through as a child. The other half of the community would say a man with that much time, that much money, etc., could go get some help. He chose not to. He rather chose to abuse his privilege.
Sure.
Both can be true.
Yeah, both can be true. I think both can be, because I look at it like that. I'm like, and that's why I agree with your point when you say keeping the right people around you, because if people are and I don't even know if anybody was condoning, but they certainly were looking the other way or assisting and like aiding him in, getting these underage girls or, hiding the fact of what he was doing or whatever the case may be. Those are the wrong people around you, And so, yeah, he definitely had the resources to get it done. But then at the same time, does he know that he has problems?
Well, if you're not surrounded by the right people, no. Yeah,
and I mean, you could argue and say, but he still knows right from wrong. It's just such a mixed, convoluted sort of topic, because it is right from wrong, but the mental health issue and the trauma. And so do I even know that I have the trauma? Do I know that I have the mental health? Do I need help? Do I know that?
It is well documented that he used to hang out at the McDonald's next to the school, right? Yeah, I think it's in the documentary as well. He was never alone.
Yeah.
He had his boys with him.
Yeah.
There is no world in which you could tell me that he didn't know what was right from wrong in that situation. And how dare you, as his buddies, say, yeah, we'll go down there with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's not I don't know if I'm making I don't know if he really thought about right from wrong. And also, he may not have even thought he was doing anything wrong per se.
You believe that he may have not known.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Academics. DJ Academics, who was called out recently, I guess within the past couple of months, for saying that he had slept with an underage girl.
Really? I didn't see that.
He was saying that, I'd have to pull it up, but he caught a lot of heat. But let me explain this. There was a whole argument about in certain states what's considered of age, right? So 17, out here we may say you're still underage, she's still, not an adult, but in some aspect in other states and other countries and different things like that, people think differently, and people think that once you get to a certain age, you are mentally aware and mentally capable of making your own decisions as like an adult would.
Right.
So that's just, I mean, yeah, we're talking about under a state law, but I'm talking about mindset here. Some people are actually thinking in the mind that you are a woman. not age-wise, but you are a woman, and this is not to make any excuses for him. I'm just saying for R. Kelly. I'm just saying some people know the law ramifications, or maybe they do know the law ramifications, but their intellect is saying, that this is okay. You know what I'm saying? As wrong as it is, you and I are looking at it like, how could you be so dumb? Like, how could you do something like that? Especially since we have young girls, right? We have girls. But I don't know. I don't know that he had the wherewithal. I don't know that he could differentiate what was actually okay and what was not. Because I'm not the one to say he did or he didn't, because that's for an expert to really sort of find out and talk to him about and diagnose maybe. But I don't know. I just question it.
I think that he was, we're up against it here. Richie Rich on the phone. We got to come to him on the other side. I know he wants to break this down. I know that he was surrounded with enablers because of the video. 14?
I think 14, yeah. Horrible. I mean, literally horrible.
You're videotaping.
Yeah.
So you know what you're doing here.
Oh, yeah.
And to catalog the entire thing is really sickening.
Let's be clear. He knew he was sane. He knew right from wrong. He was a regular guy. I'm saying the deeper part of this is that there's something that none of us know. We don't know at all how his past has affected him. We don't know that at all because we're not doctors. We can't say, and we're not in his mind to know. We know that it was wrong, and I'm sure he knew to a certain degree it was wrong. We just don't know how his trauma has affected him to even make that decision, if he knew it was, if he thought it was okay or not in his mind. It's just deep. It's just deep, and it's just convoluted.
Well said. Let me ask you a question. You answer on the other side. We'll go to Richie Rich on the other side as well. A lot of people attack the parents of these young girls when it comes to this situation.
Yeah.
I've been saying for a long time, I probably would have done the same thing.
What's that?
Take my daughter to him. If my daughter was a wannabe singer and R. Kelly is calling for my daughter to come there and sing background, she's probably there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people are attacking the parents of these young girls. It's like, and I know. He was on top of the world at that point. I don't know if accusations have come down just yet. We knew about Aaliyah. We knew he had married her. Even that was a rumor. You would do the same thing. Is that fair? Tell me on the other side. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. We're somehow discussing R. Kelly right now. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got Richie Rich on the other side.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. Like George and Weezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
For generations, our families have worked hard to accomplish the dream of owning a home. Not just to have a roof over their heads, but roots beneath their feet. A place to gather and reconnect with loved ones. A home to pass down through the generations. It's your turn now. And Rocket Mortgage is here to help open the doors to home ownership. Rocket is an expert when it comes to buying a home, and we have the tools to help you get there. In this competitive market, a verified approval can give you an edge with sellers. You'll stand out because your finances have been approved, so they'll know you're a serious buyer. So, when it's time to buy that house and make it your dream home, Rocket can. Let us help you get started. Call 888-900-0409 today.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information appraisal and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equalizing lender license in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for human rights. The Los Angeles Civil, Human Rights and Equity Department, or LA Civil Rights for short, is focused on reducing bias and injustices while leveling the playing field. LA Civil Rights does this through equity and empowerment, the Office of Racial Equity, hate prevention, upward mobility programming, and youth programming. They convene commissions and advisory councils. The Civil, Human Rights, and Equity Department of the City of Los Angeles is led by founding executive director Capri Maddox and is breaking new ground for municipal governance. LA Civil Rights oversees citywide initiatives, including the Renew program, LA Repair program, and the LA for All campaign. The LA Civil Rights and inclusion for all people can be achieved through hard work and collective action. To get involved and be part of the solution, report a civil rights violation or get more information, visit civilandhumanrights.lacity.org. That's civilandhumanrights.lacity.org or call 213-978-1845. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. You know, the fries covered in bold Mexican spices you dip in a warm nacho cheese sauce. You can also dunk them in the nacho cheese sauce or pour the sauce onto a pile of them and create like a nacho fries nachos. The thing is that you eat them with nacho cheese sauce. That's what makes them nacho fries. Otherwise, you're just eating fries and sipping on nacho cheese sauce, and that's the wrong way. Sorry, just really passionate about nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation with stores.
The Gospel Truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, we are briefly discussing R. Kelly because Andy played an R. Kelly song at the top of the hour, and it broke out into a whole conversation about, I was asking you a few minutes ago, your daughter's an aspiring singer, and R. Kelly says, bring your daughter by, because I want her to sing in the background, and I think I got a song for her. Would you not have done the same thing?
I would. If I knew that my daughter had a passion for singing, that she had a gift for singing, because I'm not going to waste nobody's time here. But if I knew that she could go somewhere and he was interested, I'd probably take my daughter, but I'd be there literally every step of the way. There's no way that I'm going to leave my daughter with a grown man. I don't care how many Grammys you got, how many records you've sold, what's your fame. I don't care any of that, regardless of rumors. Whether or not we knew or heard about Aaliyah or anything, I wouldn't leave my kid there by herself. Not a teenage daughter.
They dropped the charges on him the first time.
No, it doesn't matter. That probably no. And at that point, I mean, I can't make any. It's hard to say when you're not in the situation, but and I don't knock anybody who's done it, but now I'm going to question whether you've been the charges have been dropped or anything. Now I'm going to be more alert and aware. Why were there charges in the first place, right? So I don't know that I would even continue down that road of still working with my kid. Let me say this. Stacey has responded to this question as well. She says, I think the attack on the parents are the repeated allowance, knowing they can see a change in their daughter as evidence of him isolating the daughter, and parents getting money/perks. And it says that in the documentary. She says, I, like you, don't think anyone is against the initial meet and greets to support the daughter's
HBO Max, and I'm watching right now. It's about that guy Keith Raniere. It's called The Vow, and then the part 2 just dropped recently.
Oh, I haven't
and
heard
this guy was pretty much a cult leader.
Oh.
But he disguised that as these self-help groups, right?
Oh, okay.
And he turned it into a sex cult.
Oh, I think I've seen that or heard about it.
You have to watch it.
There was a series, actually. I don't know that it was a documentary, but there was a series on a network where I watched the series of a, and I don't know if that was the guy's name or not, but he was definitely like a self-help sort of thing, and he got all these different women to, join this self-help clinic or something like that, and definitely turned it into a sex cult. They were getting tattoos or they were getting branded. Yeah, so that was the same thing. Wow.
So what she's saying, it seems like it seems as though it comes across as something initially, but at some point it starts to morph into something different.
Yeah.
You have to have the wherewithal to go, this don't smell right. I think there's just some people that are more gullible than others.
Yeah.
Those are the people that join these cults.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also says something to, you really have to be very, 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 very close with my kids. And I know I know the ins and outs. I'm not saying I know everything about their lives. I'm sure there are things that happen at school or maybe feelings that they have or different things that have happened in their lives that I don't know about. But for the most part, we're very, very in tune with them. Both me, my husband and I, we're very in tune with our kids. So there's not going to be a time until you get older, of course, but there's not going to be a time where you're going to go around someone, number one, by yourself. I'm going to be pretty much right there along the way. Like I was explaining to you, my daughter was taking vocal lessons with Mr. Willie Norwood, who was he is the coach, still is, by the way, the coach of his daughter Brandy and his son Ray J. And he has that as a business. He does vocal coaching.
Wow.
And so my daughter was really young, and she was like, I want to sing, So I worked with them, and I was like, hey, Pops, can you start working with Brooklyn? And so he did. I mean, granted, she was a young girl, but still, like, they're in the room, but I'm literally in the chair right outside the room. She was 14, 4, 5, 15. It doesn't matter. I'm right there, and I'm going to be right there. So I'm not going to give too much space for that. But in addition, even if I did, let's just say I was one of the people who said, I trust him. I'm going to be, let my kid go. I mean, it has nothing to do with him, by the way, because he's like a father figure, and so I trust and love him. It doesn't matter. That's my daughter, right? Yeah. Not him. It's my kid. So, but even if I said I'm going to let that go and let my kid be participate alone or something, I have to be so in tune with her that at the moment I start noticing anything change about you, your behavior or anything like that, that's where you have to be so in tune with your kid. It's my heart aches for anyone who doesn't have that type of relationship with their kid and they don't catch the changes as they're happening. My heart aches for that because I'm like, man, how long was that happening? When did the change happen before you realized, something was going on that you needed? And that's not to pass judgment. I'm just saying, like, that's, you asked me the question about my kids. That's how it will be, straight up.
I think we have to pass judgment when it comes to our own kids.
Yeah, well, when it comes to mine, I mean.
And there's some criticism I've levied on the parents that were working with Michael Jackson. Remember, he had beaten the first case. And there was parents that were allowing their children to sleep in the house of Michael Jackson while they were on an isolated place on the same lot.
Yeah.
Letting their kids sleep in the same room with Michael Jackson while they're there. That's bananas to me.
That is.
That's insanity to me.
It is. It is. I can't imagine. And, I mean, I'm not going to let my kids stay alone with a teenager, let alone a grown person. That just.
But it's Michael.
Exactly.
Let's go to the phones. Richie, give me your height, your color, and your hood, Richie.
For sure, 6 foot, second degree, brown, Pasadena, California.
Pasadena, checking in, drop that. Yeah. Usually I can predict which direction you're going to go with the topic of conversation. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little flummoxed right now.
We don't know.
What you got to say, huh?
Yes, sir. Man, first things first, Danny, my condolences to your family, man. You a stand-up dude. I'm sorry for your loss. You know what I mean? Coming from, this LA County, man, we experience a lot of death, you know what I'm saying? And what I do, I just say, you know what? They live through me now, and I'm going to be just that much more a better man to bring no more. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that so much. God bless you.
Indeed, man. Indeed. I appreciate your bravery and courage. You inspire me to be a better person, and I love the show. You guys keep doing what y'all doing. Coming from the hood, man, who I've been in the military, actively with my hood, been in prison, always had a leadership role. When you're able to, I was an acolyte, African Methodist Episcopal Church, a scholar, all that. So I try to tap into everything so I can have a reality-based, informed decision when I make decisions, and things happen in the hood all the time. We're young, especially our young brothers and sisters, because that's the time when we're so curious and so trying to understand things, and it's crazy how when people get, courted onto the hood and they're young, and then you get to go see where they're coming from, like go to their home and see their mom, see their dad, and see what's going on. Like, why are they out in the streets at 12, at 11, at 10? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's crazy. It's various reasons, though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's an older parent that just doesn't have the energy to really be there. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why they're in the streets with us, because we're younger and we have the energy to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And also when you have people do make excuses for your flaws. Like, man, go to Richie Rich. He got the knowledge. But, yo, that dude is a gang member, though. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to make a decision. And, man, the community shields me so many times. Danny, it's so many times where I probably ran in your backyard. You know I'm doing wrong, but you let me hide in the backyard. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
So, in R. Kelly's situation, people do make excuses because of their contributions, though. Like I was telling Andy, we pull up the resume and we say, okay, Danny, let's say, hit a woman on the corner. But he looked out for little JoJo. He did X, Y, and Z. So let's just rough him up a little bit. But he's still going to be, we're not going to chase him about the hood. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We come together and we try to make the best decisions. You know, I'm not making an excuse for R. Kelly, but the question is this. At what age are you truly a woman or a man? And we know that men and women get sexually active at different times. Mm-hmm. I know personally people who've been sexually active, men and women, since elementary. You know what I'm saying? And it's very yes, somebody diddled with them that was older. You know what I'm saying? So it's a real complicated situation. I do want to double back and apologize because my auntie got on me and she was like, Rich, the Rachel lady is down. You know what I'm saying? Don't question her. She's with us even though she's not melanated. She's black. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
And you do have Asians, whites, Mexicans that do bang these hoods. You feel what I'm saying? And they sometimes are more down than we are about the cause. So it's not the superficial about the person. It's really their actions, words, and deeds.
So you're defending, for those who don't know what he's talking about, we talked about Rachel Dolezal last night. You're defending the fact that she's a white woman and she should be able to represent the black community over in Washington. You're saying that? And I apologize to the sister because my auntie pulled me to the side and was like, Rich, no, she has been putting it down for years. She has shown that she's down. Yes, she may have, you know what I mean? Because I think she did get some sort of grant or something that was supposed to be for African American, and she got it. But don't question her intentions. She's definitely down for the cause. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers and sisters will defend her. And like I said, I have a Mexican friend that's from the hood, and people used to always question me about him, but he's just as down as us. You know what I'm saying? So when people do show us that they are with the cause, and mind you, nobody's perfect, Danny and Robin. We all make mistakes. We all fall short in some areas. Yeah. And if we put the microscope on any one of us, it's some things that will come out that will have us looking at each other differently. You know what I mean? So we do have to just be understanding of each other and be there supportive of each other. And there's certain acts, though, that are out the question. You know, when you leave people to die in a time of war, you know what I'm saying? When you're touching on kids, I'm talking about kids, you know what I'm saying? When we talk about high schoolers, because we all remember, Danny, when we was in high school, we was in middle school, it was older brothers that would pull up in the cars that was getting the girls that's in the classroom with us that we want to get with. You know what I'm saying? And they was happily hopping in the car with them, and it was a fair exchange. That's real talk. I remember when I was to get popular, and if a girl saw a dude driving with a car on his phone, he was King Midas, I'm telling you. So, yeah, I'm with you. There were grown men driving around our high schools picking up these high school girls, and they had to be 19, 20, 21 years old.
Exactly. And if you just study psychology and just the relationship of attraction, most women like men that are 4 inches taller than them and 4 to 5 years older than them, period. You dig what I'm saying? So, most, of course. That's 51% above.
Richie, I'm up against it, man. If that ain't call of the night, you got to give in call of the night.
That's so good. Yeah, thank you.
I never would have thought you'd come in and defend Rachel Dolezal. I didn't see that coming, but I appreciate you calling, all right?
Hey, nothing but love, man. Peace, y'all. Have a good night.
Much love to you. I love him.
Yeah, he's so great every time he calls.
He is salt of the earth. That's your friend, right, Andy? No? Of course not, because he's a good dude.
No, don't do Andy like that.
News and traffic right now. We continue on the other side. Danny Morrison Show. Upon further review clips, we got them coming. Stay there.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Island, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former President Trump is making another run at the White House in 2024. He delivered the announcement from his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. A judge is blocking a Trump-era border rule known as Title 42 that expelled migrants at the U.S. border. The policy was enacted under COVID, and it allowed authorities to limit border crossers from entering the U.S. The policy has been used to turn back over 2 million migrants since 2020. It's unclear if the Department of Homeland Security will appeal. The race to be the next mayor of Los Angeles is getting wider. Congresswoman Karen Bass now leads developer Rick Caruso by more than 36,000 votes. The Tuesday afternoon vote update increases her lead by about 6,000 votes. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Island from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Netspend All Access account. Get the account designed for your everyday mobile banking needs. Banking services provided by and account established by Pathward N.A. Member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
Follow the leader. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader. Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversations, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader. Follow 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 the leader. You and I see you.
KBLA Talk 1580, putting the spotlight on culture and community. The Rodney King Foundation works in the community to promote positive relations and achieve social justice. The foundation provides advocacy, educational scholarships, and the powerful Walk in Love initiative. The Rodney King Foundation seeks a world of hope, tolerance, and social justice, where divisiveness has been overcome and all people live together peacefully and harmoniously. Executive Director, Founder Laura King is striving to enhance the community's self-esteem, health, social services, and social justice locally and worldwide. The foundation is dedicated to continuing the message of Laura's father, the great Rodney King, to promote peace and #get along. For more information, please visit rodneyking.org or call 626-541-2907. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Rx coverage. You compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that when we fight, we win. Community Coalition trains activists and organizers in order to support power building with Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color. Community Coalition works to help transform the social and economic conditions in South LA that foster addiction, crime, violence, and poverty by building a community institution that involves thousands in creating, influencing, and changing public policy. Founded by Karen Bass in 1990, Community Coalition was born as an African American and Latino organization with the goal of turning hopelessness and despair into action. The activism of the Community Coalition's members and community residents has almost solely stimulated economic recovery in South LA for decades, generating billions of dollars by redirecting them to South LA schools and foster care. In addition, Community Coalition body, soul resources, advocacy, and policy work, and has a robust and active membership body. To become a member, get a referral, or get support for your nonprofit, visit cocosouthla.org. That's cocosouthla.org, or call 323-750-9087. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Your home is the largest investment you'll make in a lifetime. But do you even know what it's really worth? Now, Ownerly.com gives you the information that real estate investors and professional agents don't want you to see. Knowing your home's worth helps you get the best value when selling and helps you manage it when not. Need a home valuation? Ownerly.com gives you 3, while the other guys only offer 1. It's time to take ownership of your home with Ownerly.com. That's OWNERLY.com. Ownerly.com. See what your home's worth.
You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
Pull up in a drop with a bad man, acting like a never had. Pocket full of cash, I'm rich, cause I'm a savage. Straight up out like she average, all up in her face with a bad bitch. See a new chick try to bag it, cause I'm a savage. I was born with a rusty spoon, now I'm a tycoon. I've been drinking all afternoon, ain't finna stop no time soon. Bad batches matter. She want me to scoop her up like a spatula. She wanna get attached like an adapt. Want me to smash. I'm a savage about my cabbage. All my life I've been managed. Established practice without feature barbarian. I'm a beast, know how to maneuver in these streets. How to wiggle, get to the Gouda, straight shooter. I'm super solid from the rooter to the tutor. Don't let the palm trees fool you. They play with street instruments and they bring the noise like a tuba. Pushing a many line trap with a planet. Heart rate, a granite tax like a W9. I'm a trap. Pull up in a drop with a bad man, acting like a never had. Pocket full of cash, I'm rich, cause I'm a savage. Straight up out like she average, all up in her face with a bad bitch. See a new chick try to bag it, cause I'm a savage.
Happy birthday to E40.
Today?
It's his birthday today.
55. Wow. Please, 40, make 60 at least. Please. You see the video that we posted on the KBLA socials?
Yeah, that was a great video.
Just all of these MCs, if we had been able to see them reach their 60s and 70s, it would have been something special.
I will say this about E40. I have noticed that he has slimmed down a tad bit. So
he has.
Yeah.
Taking care of your health. Yeah. Hopefully we'll start to turn the corner here and become more healthy. You made the statement recently, you think the black community as a whole is starting to make a turn towards health. And I think you're right. Hopefully it continues, but hopefully these MCs are listening now.
I mean, well, what we can say about E40 is that he's not out here. He is a family man. He is a family man. He is at home. He is unproblematic. He is not in these streets. I mean, I'm sure he has events here and there and performances here and there, but I think that, he's just kind of out the way. And that's obviously the first start. Right. That's the first step, right? Because a lot of the rappers who are losing their lives are out there, in the mix, and he's not doing any of that. So I like that.
Why, Robin, are they out there in the mix? I don't want to get off on a tangent, man. I just don't understand. Why? Social media has taken that away. You don't need to be out in these streets anymore. You can show people who you are. You can show them your family. You can show them your house. You can just put on whatever persona you want on social media. You don't need to be in a bowling alley at 2 o'clock in the morning. I know that.
Yeah, well, I think another part of it, though, is number one, let's just be real. When you're young and you want to be out here, you still want to have fun. You still want to be in the mix. I mean, I remember going out with my friends and, the feeling of like nightlife. Not no more, but I mean, it used to feel so good being in the mix, being out there. And then for an artist and these it's, I think, partially about relevancy too, because that's what they used to say to me. In the part of networking, that whole networking thing, when you're trying to come up, you got to be in people's faces. They got to remember who you are. So it is about social media, but it's also about real life. Like you can have conversations with people, touch people, that's a real part of the game.
But not when you the Migos. You done already touched everybody. You done made it.
Yeah, but these guys were really young. They're young.
How old was he?
They were in their 20s. I think he was 20, I don't know.
28?
28? That's still very young. That's very young. And so if you're not trying to be at home settling down. I mean, my mind is thinking that, I'm thinking, probably they wouldn't want to just be chilling at home.
Offset disagrees. Offset's like,
well, he's a family man, so wife and kids is going,
It's kind of proving the point we made in the first hour. You got a good woman on your arm. You ain't trying to be out in the streets.
I'm saying.
You ain't trying to be in no clubs. You ain't trying to be in no bowling alleys. You got a beautiful woman at home.
Yeah, what for? And then at this stage in the game, like when you've done all the girls, you can have the most beautiful girls in the world. You've traveled to all the most beautiful places. It's like, what more can you do? I think then the beauty becomes being at home, seeing your kids walk for the first time, or, whatever, eating a home-cooked meal and not hitting up all the restaurants. That type of thing becomes more exciting at that stage.
I'll say that to the fellas on what Robin was just talking about. Weigh that versus the single life and what you could have with a good woman. I hope my family ain't listening, because they're like, are you listening to yourself right now? But is that what you want? Is one woman enough? Because there's just a lot of cats out there that go, Danny, I want that. I want the house. I want the home-cooked meal. I want the kids running around. I want all of that. Picket fence, 2.3 kids, the whole 9. I can't have sex with one woman for the rest of my lifetime. That's tough. And there are some women that are with celebrity males and go, I don't mind if he does dirt every now and again. As long as he come home to me and the bills are paid, we good.
Yeah, I think there's a combination of it that I see out there, and then you have guys who are like, listen, I do want to be with you, I do love you, but I know for a fact that I'm not going to be faithful to you, and I do, as long as, this is how I feel, as long as they're still out there, as long as any part of that life, and I don't even know what to call it, but it's this essence of like fun and I don't know the word, but it's just like that nightlife, that feeling of just.
What is? Thank you.
Yeah, what is that?
What
feeling?
Is that?
Yeah,
being in the club scene and everybody coming up to you, click, and take a selfie with you and gassing you up and telling you how great an artist or whatever you are. What is that you need that?
Right.
Because you're already a celebrity. You already got the bag.
Yeah.
Why do you always consistently need that?
I think it's a combination though. I feel like it's, there has to be, in my opinion, because there are some guys who are like Denzel is a great example. Denzel, for a long time, this is not just older Denzel, for a long time Denzel has just been in the cut. He doesn't care much about all of that that adoration,
You are so, I can't think of Denzel being at a social event other than a horse.
Well, I met Denzel at a lounge, but it was real chill. I think I told this story. He was sitting there with the owner of the place. They're chilling in one of the little booths or whatever, so it's not like you can't go out. But he was really, I didn't even recognize him. It was the owner who said, Robin, come here. I want you to meet Denzel. I'm like, what? Hi, sir. He was like, hi, Robin, nice to meet you. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, this is crazy. What you sitting here for? But he was just chilling in the cut, just real low key, hanging out with this boy. And my point is, it wasn't necessary for him to try to get all the attention. I mean, some people have that. They self-validate. They don't require much of that limelight, and that adoration. They don't require that.
Like that, by the way.
I've never met him, so I don't know. But then there are other people who require that. It's sort of like there's a void in them that needs to be filled all the time with that type of attention.
Wow. Excuse me. That was him.
I mean, he's definitely kind of like that type of guy where, I know. Wow. So I don't know exactly what to call it, but I think it's just a combination of all of that. And not to mention, it really is fun when you're young and you're out there. It's a good time. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like that's a really good time.
Is it? Still?
I'm saying when I was
when we was coming up, there was no danger associated with it. Okay, there was some.
Yeah, I mean it's
but not as much as it is today.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Watch yourself out there still, you know what I mean? Like there was always something going on. We came up in the times where Biggie was shot at the club. We were, you know what I mean? Like it was the same thing where Pop was performing over here at House of Blues on Sunset, like when we were all like hanging out and going, you know what I'm saying? So it was still danger.
Right.
It was still the same type of thing. And I'm just saying my point is that it is fun. It is fun hanging out, but there has to come a time, like you were talking about, if you're the Migos, if you've achieved a certain amount of success and you are out here, you gotta watch yourself. You gotta, or go home, be smart. You gotta, go out with security. You gotta move a little bit differently.
Did they peak too soon?
No.
Because they peaked in their mid-20s.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No?
No.
What's up?
Danny?
Yeah.
You know I love you.
Oh, man, come on now.
You're not the only person on this platform. You sound old.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, I think you guys are discrediting your. As I was a youngster, and quite frankly, I think your time was worse than now, as far as violence goes.
I totally disagree. But okay.
It's just funny because these kids right now are so reckless. Man, I used to hear that same thing growing up as a kid. Oh, those kids are reckless. So I mean, it's kind of the same. Violence hasn't decreased or increased. I mean,
that's a show. That's a show.
I don't know.
Is it worse then or is it worse now?
I don't know, but I know that it's more. It seems like it's more prevalent because social media is here.
So it was always happening.
We didn't have phones. Listen, we didn't have phones. We couldn't record. I was just telling my daughter the other day, I said, we didn't text. She was like, y'all didn't have text messages?
We had beepers.
No, we had beepers, but I'm just saying, no, it wasn't like that. We didn't have the communication by text, type of thing. Some of us were just getting cell phones. We had our little Nextel, and that type of thing. It wasn't today. My point is, it wasn't today where we were recording, we were videotaping. The first thing that, we used to see things with our eyes. We didn't film it.
Oh, thank God.
Like it's more prevalent because it's all on social media, because it's all recorded. It's all, Black Twitter is the first thing you do. You upload stuff, and so it's in our face. But we still have the same type of thing going on then that we do now.
But see, I think that's the reason these cats are still going to the clubs and all of these social events, because they want that. That's like social digital capital to them. You go to the bowling alley at 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's clickety click, everybody's sharing it, hashtagging the whole nine, and that pushes their movement, their brand forward.
It is relevancy.
But they're the Migos.
Yeah, but it's a different. I mean, I know you're hung up on the Migos right now. I still don't see that there's anything wrong with them going to a bowling alley for an event. When you're friends with the guy, I mean, it almost makes it seem as though because you're the Migos, you can't go out, and I don't agree with that. They're still young.
I believe that.
I don't agree with that. I think that you move smarter, be smarter. You have the money to have security around you, and then also, like I was saying, when you walk away from arguments and not thinking that you're invincible, being smart. But I don't think that, like, the baby being out at a bowling alley at 2 a.m. is not a problem. It's the fact that you and all your boys want to fight on site with old boy. That's not okay. Like, that's not cool.
They took care of business though, didn't they?
I'm just saying, like, you can be out if you're young. You're young. Live your life. Have fun. Go out. But you got to be smart about how you move.
I'm with you. You got to be smart.
That's it.
KBLA Talk 1580, we got a lot to talk about. Stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles, like George and Weezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Governor Newsom not supporting making kindergarten mandatory. Maisha Cairo here. It's your K-Black Minute News. The office of Governor Gavin Newsom released a list of bills from the current legislative session that he both signed and those that he vetoed. Among the bills vetoed was have made attending 1 year of kindergarten mandatory beginning the 2024 to 2025 school year. Existing California law does not require children to attend school until they are 6 years old, the age that children typically begin first grade. Kindergarten is reported to help level the playing field for children who are less likely to receive high-quality child care or preschool. Parents and community members, what are your thoughts on all this? I'd like to know. Tweet us at KBLA 1580 hashtag KBlackMinute with your thoughts.
When you're the victim of a car accident, who goes to bat for you is crucial. We're MVP accident attorneys, the personal injury pros. Hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Our team is in it to win it, and we'll fight to get the maximum compensation you deserve. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation. Call 833-MVP-WINS.
Call on me, your MVP. What thank you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes? Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in 1 wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Come on, we're going to burn through these clips. We're going to do it. Because I'm not carrying them another day. Upon further review clips, you beautiful people, you beautiful listeners, we appreciate you so much. You send us clips that you think will add to the discussion upon further review. This first clip is about Generation X. And on how we know what we are talking about, because we've been through it all. We basically are the bridge between the boomers and the millennials, so we should be seen as the best at being able to assess. And I agree with this cat. Listen.
Let's talk a little bit about Generation X. The generation so terrifying they couldn't even give it a name. So Gen Xers were raised by baby boomers, so they knew a very older and maybe kind of feral way to exist and live their life. But then they were also old enough, so when the internet and a lot of new technology started coming out, they also knew a lot more. So they had this kind of ability to cherry pick the best traits of baby boomers and millennials, which makes them some of the most dangerous people in the world. Most of the Gen Xers I knew either went to the military, went to rehab, or went to jail. That means the ones that are left are survivors. So for as many changes in music and style and culture that you think you've been through, in the last 50 years, they've been through the most. Also, mental illness wasn't trendy back then, so any kind of mental illness that they had, they usually didn't get any treatment for it, so they had to learn how to cope with it themselves. Medications weren't as delicate or as effective back then, and that leaves you with some very interesting people. Get yourself a Gen X friend, but they'll probably just tell you to off.
That's funny.
Real talk,
wow,
right?
That's very true. That's very true. You know, this whole mental health talk is, I don't want to say it's trendy, because when you talk about a trend, usually you're talking about a fad, something that's going to, kind of die out or whatever. But it is trendy in the sense that we only really started talking about this more recently. About that, like, when we were growing up and stuff, like, mental health was not a thing, it was, you were a bad kid if you had, if you didn't, you weren't diagnosed with ADHD or anything else for that matter. If you had trauma, they just called you, a bad kid.
I remember we used to make jokes all the time. Some of you probably did the same thing. Remember when we used to say, you going to get a crazy check. You keep it up. You
yeah.
We used to joke about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know who I give credit to, I think you probably agree, is Charlamagne the God.
Yeah, he was huge. He was a huge, and still is a huge advocate for mental health, for sure. I mean, so many people, though. I appreciate the ones who said, first, like, listen, I don't care if y'all make fun of me. I am going to take care of myself because I have issues, and they just start talking about it. And it's not that he even he did become an advocate, but he was more so just talking about his own life. And just, it's usually, that's what they say. Like, you'll promote anything that you think is a good idea, or if you went to see a good movie, or you went to a great restaurant and you had great food, you're going to tell people about the great food. So mental health and getting help for that is pretty much the same thing. You're going to tell people about it if you feel like it's effective for you.
Well said. Let's get to number 2. Cool? All right, check this out. The second clip is sent to me, posted by a guy named Storm Power, and it features a member of the KKK talking about they want a race war, and they've been eagerly anticipating it for years. Listen.
What do you think about the state of our country? Do you think things are getting worse?
I think it's a racial powder keg about to explode, and we're actually hoping for it. Most of the people in the Klan want it to. We want the we want a race war, a full-out race war.
And racism is a big issue in the United States.
Well, racism's always going to be a big issue anywhere. You can't have 2 different races or 3 races. You can't have this many people living on one continent with this many different religions, this many different cultures, without one trying to step on the other. I mean, that's just common sense.
But you could argue that the Klan is contributing to the problem.
You can just sit back and let the blacks do their own job. I mean, let them keep killing each other in record numbers. The Klan ain't got to go out and kill blacks no more. We just drop off some liquor in their town and some guns, and they do it themselves. If it was my option every weekend, I would go up to Chicago with a big truck full of whiskey and crack, marijuana, and a ton of guns and bullets, and tell them have at it and just drop it off right.
In the words of Ice Cube, here's what they think about you. They're ready. And we're giving them everything they want. We're giving it to them.
You know what? This is unfortunate, but I'm gonna read this. Goodness gracious! Don't lose it on me now.
2.5 minutes.
I know. I probably have to bring it up tomorrow or something else. But there was it's the back in the day, Ahmad. It's Ahmad.
Back in the day when I was younger, man.
He actually had an incredible post today that is so good. Let me see if I can just read it very, very briefly. It was basically about the 3 slain football players that just lost their lives. He talked about, I won't even read it all, but he talked about how we need to stop blaming racism and really start talking about the problems that we have within our own community, because black on black crime, he says, really is a thing. I know that he says we know that people, other races, kill people within their own proximity as well, but he was just talking about how it really is a thing, and that he says that he also doesn't like to watch, he doesn't follow Sean King specifically because he's always talking about this black trauma, talking about it. And he says that he thinks that it's a sort of a ploy, not necessarily intentional, but it is a ploy to keep us sort of like continuously thinking about the black trauma, that we go through. And so it's a whole long post, but it's actually, I thought it was so good. I think that it really needs to, it needs some attention. It needs some attention. But, unfortunately, I think there's some truth to what this guy is saying. I don't like it, but there's some truth there. We just can't deny that.
Yeah. You got to know what the enemy is doing. You got to know what the enemy is thinking and what they're saying.
Yeah.
And obviously, that is the enemy. And we got to start taking care of one another, y'all. I know it's easy. Black on black crime is a real thing.
Yes,
and they always say, well, white people kill each other too. What about the brown on brown crime? What about the black on black crime? No, that's all I care about. I'm sorry. I'm going to be looking outside the circle. I could not care less what the next man is doing. It trips me out to this day how we can harm one another for the most frivolous reasons.
Yeah.
Trips me out.
Yep. We have to deal with that in our own community. We got to stop. We got to build the love in our community and definitely address this hate that we have towards each other.
Great show tonight.
Yeah,
wow.
Definitely.
Andy, we appreciate you too. Good luck. God bless. Go. Keep it on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Be good.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. All flags in Virginia are being lowered this morning after the governor calls an incident a horrific tragedy. A University of Virginia student is accused of shooting 5 classmates Sunday night in a parking garage. They were among 20 others on a bus returning from a field trip in D.C. 3 football players died and 2 are in the hospital.